You hear the word Rincon and it like echoes in your head.
One of the most iconic spots for BMX.
Whatever trick you're gonna try, this is the pinnacle of spots to try it on. Kind of makes your palms start sweating a little bit just thinking about it.
It's not for the faint of heart.
But it looks like Colin is setting up for something right now. He's getting hyped up.
Something like this is built for his style of riding.
Just as I was saying it, and he lands
No way!
I had a feeling.
Unreal!
I had a feeling, Brad.
Colin Varanyak, are you kidding me? What did I just see?
Oh, fakie hop off the top ropes, really. And we don't really need to explain it, but you can see the best guys in the world are here, and they're going nuts. The danger, the precision, I mean, I literally have goosebumps.
It's officially 2024, but I wanted to make a highlight video of 2023, considering 2023 was probably one of the craziest years of my life. Definitely more highlights this year than I think I've ever had. So I kind of just gathered a timeline. I took a bunch of clips throughout the year from my iPhone, dropped them on the timeline, and I'm just gonna kind of walk through everything, talk about it a little bit. So started out this year, New Year's Eve, spent it with Alexis out in the rain with Noah. We did some camping in her van. Really good way to get the year started, and we had a lot of rain in the beginning of the year. Like, it rained more this past year in 2023 than I think it's ever rained in San Diego, at least as far as I could remember. Riding in parking garages, riding in the rain a little bit, not riding. Spent some time riding a lot of skate parks in the beginning of the year when Wani was out here. Shout out to Wani. Miss you already, bro. Can't wait till you're back. Me, Nathan, Wani, and Corey were heading up north to LA a bunch to ride with Dak and Calvin. Calvin and Nathan were working on a video part together, and so is Dak and Calvin. So we were kind of just meeting up and having fun riding, getting some good sessions going with the boys. Was lucky enough to do a little snowboarding in the beginning of the year with Alexis. Went up there with Dennis and Odessa. I don't really have much footage from that trip, but it was super cool to go on a little snowboarding trip up to Big Bear for a couple days. From there, we went up to Woodward with the boys. As you guys saw in the YouTube video, it was me, Jaron, Antonio, Wani, Corey, Nathan, Coco. Thank you, Coco, for letting us stay at your house. That was probably one of the funner trips of this year. We had a good time riding inside. It was like cold, rainy, snowy, so I think it did actually snow, which is insane because it never snows there, I don't think. So, super fun trip. And then we were just back in SoCal, riding skate parks. Next up was the Haro, Mexico trip. Joey just invited me because I was riding for Premium. He's the team manager for Premium too. He said, hey, if you want to come down with the boys, we're gonna do a little event down in Ensenada. So I hopped in, and super fun trip. We were only there for 2 days, but we got to ride some street, rode the skate park with the locals. Then from Mexico, it was off to Europe, and I scrambled together. It literally was like the last day I bought a camera before I left, and I was like running around off-road trying to get like a lens and a microphone and everything else I needed to get the kit complete for the trip, but it's together. It's what I'm filming on right now. Went to France to ride the FIS Montpellier contest. I've always wanted to go ride this contest. Me, Nathan, and Wani kind of just decided to do a homie trip. We're like, hey, let's do it. Let's get out there. Let's just have a good time and see what happens. Ended up getting first in the high hop contest. Really stoked on that. I got 4th overall in the best trick contest. It was supposed to be, I thought originally it was going to be like a contest with runs, but it ended up being like a best trick contest. But it was super fun, different format. It's really cool to see like a solid street presence at one of the FIS events. So we were hanging out with some of the guys after the contest at Montpellier. Fred and Gav actually asked us if we wanted to film and edit for Dig, because we had told them we got a camera and we were kind of just going to Barcelona to film, but we didn't really have an agenda. So everything kind of lined up for us to just make a little Dig edit. Spent the week there filming with the boys. Super fun trip, really productive. Everyone smashed it. If you guys haven't watched that video, I'm gonna put the link in the description right now. Make sure you guys go check that out. So then from there, I flew home for I think a week or 2 weeks back to San Diego. Did a little PR for the X Games Rincon contest. Yeah, then I was back off to Europe. This trip to Europe was a bit more mountain bike based, but it was nonetheless still brought the BMX bike. Started the trip off in Bratislava. Was able to ride some street with Brad and CJ. Unfortunately, my bike was like a day late, so we missed an entire day of riding, but we were still able to cruise around a little bit. From Bratislava, we then made our journey to Kalnica, Freeride Bike Park Kalnica. Shout out to Victor for hooking it up and giving us the whole tour of the park. Took us down each and every trail. I still haven't posted much of these clips. I still have some stuff on my on my hard drive that I've been meaning to post. Actually, I'll throw some clips in right now so you guys can get a little feel of the bike park. Probably one of the coolest bike parks I've ever been to, just because Victor kind of explained it to us in the sense that they don't really have any regulations, so they're kind of allowed to do whatever they want, which means they can build things a little bit more progressive. So it's a very jumpy and techy, flowy bike park. I never really been to one where it was like consequences. Like if you didn't make the jump or you didn't hit it, there's way more consequences than at your like traditional bike park. But that's kind of what made it so fun. Shout out to CJ for hooking it up and making that trip happen. It's definitely one of the best places I've ever ridden. Thank you, Victor, for everything, and definitely gonna make it back to Kalnitsa. From there, myself and Brad went to the Adidas 510 Athlete Summit. They hold this every year at Area 47 in Austria. Really fun place. There's like a ton of stuff for us to do, like swimming. They got wakeboarding. They actually just built a pump track we were able to ride when we were there. They got like an airbag and.
Come on, Colin. Your mountain bike career start here and now. Yes. Oh!
All kinds of super fun stuff, and we actually even left one day to go ride Solden Bike Park. Danny Mackinskill was going there, him and Hans, and they kind of invited a few others to go and join along, and before you know it, we had pretty much like the whole crew out there, and that was a surreal experience to me to be able to ride with like insane legends in the mountain bike world. We actually ended up on one of the sketchiest trails ever. I guess Hans helped design it back in the day, so we were all giving him a bit of grief.
Dude, I'm good. Yeah, we'll take 5. We'll go down here.
Thanks, Hans.
Go straight to the bar.
Can't even ride my own trail.
Almost.
Cheers, boys. Yes. Almost forgot me there, bud.
And then from there, we went to Innsbruck for Crankworks, where shout out to CJ, she signed me up for Best Whips, first ever mountain bike contest. After Crankworks Innsbruck, we made our way over to Schladming, where we stayed for 2 days and rode the bike park there. From there, I flew home, did some street riding with the boys. Pretty much just got ready for X Games. That was the X Games Best Trick Rincon. Probably one of the most nerve-wracking contests of my life, but somehow I was able to walk away with the gold medal. You guys can kind of see it behind me, got it hanging up on the wall.
Oh my god. Yeah!
Extremely hyped about that. It's really like a dream come true. You know, I'd always imagined maybe one day I can get a gold medal in the X Games, and you know, actually got the silver one. That one's hanging up back there too. Kept the faith alive and somehow managed to make it happen, so I'm still ecstatic about that one. Hard to contain myself. I was so relieved when that contest was over. I was like, yes, I have nothing to do. I can just chill out for a week or two, go watch the contest up in Ventura, watch all the boys kill it. And they actually hit me up and told me that they got an extra spot for me, so I was able to ride the X Ventura contest, which was awesome. It was like the coolest one they've had in a couple of years. I know they were doing it, I think, the California training facility for like the past 2 or 3 years. This year they went all out, built like one of the sickest courses that they've ever had. Kind of struggled in the contest a bit, unfortunately, in my first run. Bike slipped out and kind of messed me up, which would have been fine if I didn't keep going the rest of my run and try to finish it. And then I ended up getting hurt at the end of my run. I was trying to do this feeble like 270 off this roof that they had. I kind of knew that like the run wasn't right because I messed up in the beginning, and I was kind of hesitant on whether or not I should do it or not, which if you know anything about riding, going into something like not fully committed is one of the #1 ways people get injured. So I should know better. Lack of awareness on my part. Ended up slamming on my knee really hard. Didn't know whether or not I was gonna be able to ride the rest of the contest. I tried to drop in on my second run and it was just hurting so bad. I fell after like the 3rd or 4th trick and was thinking of pulling out of the contest. Had a little pep talk with Ryan Nyquist, which was, you know, pretty surreal watching him on TV since I was a little kid. And he told me, you know, if I think I can pull through to try to take the run, which I did. I was able to stomp a solid run. Extremely grateful that I was able to get that down.
I urge you to go check out the highlights from that one to see what he put down in that event. But right now, it's all about him in this 3rd and final run here on the street.
Looking smooth and confident on the course, doing that switch down whip. Can he send this gap? He did it again onto the ledge, bringing that speed, channeling back into the volcano. He gets a 180 tail whip this time, landing it smooth as could be. Oh, that was a nice combination. 180 backwards, pegs to 270 out.
Coming down to the final 10 seconds here.
Always hopping up to manual line. Here we go, bringing some speed. Feeble to 270 in.
Tried to do that at the end of his first run. He gets it done on the 3rd and final run right here.
But from there, I had to take some time off the bike. I think I was off the bike for like a month or 2 after that because the knee was just so inflamed. I didn't actually break anything in the knee or tear anything in the ligaments, but there was just an insane amount of inflammation. I think I ruptured the bursa sac. So it just took a couple weeks to do some healing, kind of just chilling. Alexis had her birthday party. I got to meet a bunch of her friends. That was awesome. But yeah, then I started riding again, slowly getting back into it. Still was kind of dealing with some inflammation, but at this time, we released my Adidas 510 project, which I had worked on the year previous. So that was cool. I was able to kind of put some content out while I was healing. I was really excited to get that project out. It was the first time I got to work with Pete and yeah, put something out with Peter Adams. It's kind of like one of those bucket list things. So during this time, we also took a little trip up to Mammoth in the van, kicked it for a bit, back home to San Diego. After Mammoth, we took a trip up to Salt Lake City, Utah. Alexis works remote, so it was really cool to have her on the trip with Noah, just hanging out at Woodward, Salt Lake City, learning a bunch of tricks in the foam pit and the resi. I was able to learn backflips, super hyped on, and then was actually able to take it to dirt on that trip. It's kind of like a bucket list thing that I've always wanted to get done. We also hit like a ride out when we were in Salt Lake City. I forget the name. I think it's like the 9 ride or something like that. Took Noah in the bag, rode with Alexis. And yeah, from there, back to San Diego for a week. I think we were only back there for a week. And then we dropped off the Prius, picked up the van, and drove out to Rampage, which was absolutely amazing. Did some riding at the old Rampage site. Was able to flip some stuff out there too. So I was able to kind of keep up on what I had just learned in Salt Lake City. Alex got stuck on a rope swing. That was hilarious. She was out there for like a full minute. Couldn't get off.
What'd your mom do? She was stuck out there.
That was a bad idea.
After Rampage, we made the trek back down to Southern California for Devin and Haley's wedding, which was like one of the coolest ceremonies me and Alexis have ever been to. It was like on a farm with animals and really organic. Devin had the swaggiest kit. Congratulations, Devin and Haley Smiley. Thank you for inviting us. Really good time. From there, I was off to South America. Only the second time I've ever been to South America. I flew into Santiago where I met up with Wani. Dropped off my BMX bike and then got on another plane from Santiago to Antofagasta to ride downhill mountain bikes at Roca Park. This trip started out absolutely amazing. I have tons of footage for this. I'm not going to put too much into this video because I still want to put those videos out and I want you guys to watch those like full vlog videos I filmed. I also have like a bunch of POV stuff from there as well. But I ended up dislocating my elbow. One of the worst injuries I've ever had. Like I said, I'm going to upload an entire video on that entire scenario. I got some really funny footage, some really embarrassing footage, but whatever. After I dislocated my elbow, they were able to relocate it after a really long time of it being dislocated. So like I said, this was one of the most painful injuries I've ever had, and I've had tons of injuries. Flew back to Santiago from Antofagasta, which was my original plan to stay in Santiago and film with Wani for like a week, and we were gonna hold a jam at the end of the week, which we ended up still holding the jam for the kids, but I was really indecisive of whether or not I was gonna stay or fly home, but I managed to push through. Was able to have a meeting with Adidas Chile and kind of get them involved in the project. And like ultimately I had kind of set out this goal to hold like an event while I was there. I just feel like I get so many kids hitting me up from South America constantly. I know there's like one of the biggest BMX scenes there, and there's just so many underrated kids out there that aren't getting any love or coverage. So my idea is like go there, hold an event, make a little video, put up some content, give away a little bit of money, some products, you know, and it ended up being extremely successful. And, you know, despite being in a lot of pain, it brought me like a lot of joy to see all of these kids getting together and riding and having like a great time. So felt good to kind of give back a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm still dealing with this dislocated elbow issue. I'm working on the range of motion right now. I've got pretty much all the strength back. I'd say I'm at like about like 80% strength and 90% range of motion. It just can't quite straighten it all the way, and it can't quite bring it in all the way. It's just pretty normal. But working on it, therapy every day. Should be back on the bike in no time. Been dating Alexis now for quite some time. She's been kind of traveling with me everywhere these past couple years. We've grown, you know, immensely close. I've honestly never been this close with anybody I've dated. I don't think I've ever been this close with anybody, period. So, you know, I wanted to ask her for her hand in marriage. We went back to her parents' house for the holidays, where I proposed to her in Tombstone, Arizona. All in all, 2023 was probably one of the craziest years of my life. Looking forward to 2024. Gonna try to do it again. Gonna try to keep everything going. Got a lot of fun, exciting things happening this year. As you guys know, I'm not riding for Fiend anymore, and I made the transition to Haro fully and completely, which means going to be riding not only BMX bikes, but mountain bikes, and all their super awesome e-bikes and all their bikes. They have so many sick bikes. Shout out to all you guys who have been rocking with me all this time. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, you know what to do. And yeah, see you guys next video.
Hey, what's up guys? My name is Colin Varanyak, and these are my new signature premium BMX forks. So when I got the opportunity to design a signature fork, I wanted to make sure that it was extremely strong and durable. One of the worst things you could have happen to you when you're riding is your front end failing. I've seen a lot of people get really hurt this way, so we went with the investment cast on the dropout. It's a lot stronger, a lot cleaner of a look. And overall, it's just going to make for a stronger fork. So I'd say the main feature of these forks is the offset. For those of you that aren't familiar with fork offset, it has to do with how far forward or backward your wheel sits in relation to the center of the fork. We have 20 millimeters on this, which means that the wheel from the center line is 20 millimeters forward. Traditionally, most forks are around 32 millimeters. As street has become more popular and bike parts have progressed, a lot of companies have started making forks with a steeper offset. Me personally, I decided to go with a 20 millimeter offset for these forks. I feel like it's right in the middle. It's really good and responsive for all the street moves that I like to do. It's nice and easy to get into nose wheelies, super good for 360s on flat and tail whips, things like that. But it's also not so twitchy that when I ride ramps and I start to pump bigger transitions, it still has some stability. There's always a give take with this. The more offset you have, the better it's gonna feel when you're going faster. But when you're going slower, it's gonna be a lot harder to carve and get that quick, snappy feeling that you guys are looking for when you're doing, say, like a bunny hop 3 or a bunny hop tail whip, or tricks of that nature. Now, not only is the bike gonna feel twitchier, but overall you're gonna have a smaller wheelbase. And what I mean by that is the front wheel and the rear wheel are now gonna be closer together. And that's gonna change the physics of the bike and how the bike moves. So when we go to do 360s or 180s or any type of spinning variation, the bike's gonna be able to spin a lot quicker because the bike is a lot shorter. Another feature I'm really excited about on this fork is this little lip we created on the top of the fork. What this does is it matches up with the bottom of the frame and it seals up the headset, the bottom of the headset, so you don't have to worry about any dirt getting up in there. Headset will last a little bit longer, and overall it's just kind of a cleaner look. Special thanks to Premium BMX for giving me the opportunity to design my own signature forks. Really excited about these. These are now available worldwide. Make sure you guys go cop a pair, and when you do, tag me on Instagram at colinlikewhat, and I'll be sure to reshare.